All right, we're live. This is Emmanuel from Las Vegas, Nevada, body code, emotion code practitioner, here with amazing psychologist, transformational coach, psychotherapist, Poppy Sprague from California. And we are very, very excited today because we are going to talk about this amazing word called love. And I think right now, one of the first things I always tell people is that, I really need you guys to be very open-minded about this type of work because like I said, for me, the reason why I do, free complimentary sessions with people, I usually start off doing that because we live in a very skeptical world, and I made a video recording earlier today in regards to how we're beings of light. But even before that, I said, in general, the average, second grader hears no over 40,000 times before they hit the second grade. So technically we are program negative. There's a great saying where it says that we're created for success, but programmed for failure. And so the thing is if you hear no, 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 no all the time, then if something good happens to you, what do? We think negative, like that can't be real. And so the skepticism comes quicker because we've just been programmed that way. And my mentor, one of my best friends, taught me when you say no to a child, you should say yes to 3 different things. So no, you can't do that, but you could do this, you could do this, you could do that. But let's just say 99% of us didn't have that reinforcement. And so so that's what I'm saying. Like it does take effort to be open-minded. So here in Aligned Energies Live, we need you to be open-minded. So with that, first of all, what is the emotion code? I'm going to talk about that, and then while Poppy, I know she's doing something over there right now. She's actually just sharing this information out there. So if you guys can excuse her for that. So, but I'll just talk real quick on what is the emotion code. And then I'd love to just bring Poppy on, and she can kind of give herself an introduction there. But so what is the emotion code? So if you haven't read the book called the Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson, I would highly recommend looking into that because that's where it all started for me. I was able to read it I finished it on July 4th, 2015, ironically Independence Day, because I want to become independent of the things that are holding me back, and so what's interesting is that this Dr. Brad was a chiropractor for over 20 years. His brick and mortar business is what he always calls it. And he's like, do people even know what that means? I don't even know if I should say that anymore. But basically, he just had his own professional practice. But what he realized is that he had a lot of patients that were coming in with incurable diseases, and he was just sad that he couldn't help them out. So what's interesting is this whole thing came because he felt helpless in regarding to helping out his clients. And even when he fixed people's bones and did what chiropractors do, they would come back with the same similar symptoms. So he said, what's going on here? So he was looking for a more permanent, long-term healing effect with people. And he was just inspired to go back into ancient cultures where they believed that your organs are these frequency generators. And so Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest physicists and scientists of our time, said that if you want to know the secrets of the universe, look at everything as frequency, energy, and vibrations. And so Dr. Brad knew that, and so he just even back in ancient days, they believed that organs are these sort of frequency generators. And the more you look into the science part of it, you realize that even a thought has a frequency to it. They can actually measure thought. Like if they put these neurons on your brain, you can actually measure a thought, and different frequencies show up in it. They even have this thing called a magnetocardiograph, which was I think stemmed from Europe, I believe, and maybe I think it's Russia. I'm not really sure, but they that also measures your electromagnetic frequency from your heart. From what they measured, your heart is sending out these frequencies 10 to 12 feet. So, so it's interesting that we are sending out these frequencies, and the part that kind of shocked me is that the emotions that you experience on a daily basis, I thought it all came from here, but it's actually saying your organs are producing them through the vibrations that they make. Now, these are called, these little energies are the size of a tennis ball or a cantaloupe, and they're supposed to process through your body. So when you're feeling the emotion, it's actually just processing through your body. Now, the problem is that if you have an overcharged emotion of deep sadness, deep anger, deep frustration, these energies can get stuck or lodged either near the organ that created it, causing organ issues or malfunctions, or in weak links in the body. And so if you're having already body symptoms, it can latch onto that area. And these are the 3 problems of trapped emotions. Number 1 is it can irritate the tissues of the body. Number 2, it can also create multiple body symptoms, multiple emotional symptoms, depression, anxiety, PTSD, and also just like headaches, sinus problems, gut issues, things like that. The last thing is that it can also make you very reactive. So for example, something happens to you, boom, this is how you react. I mean, how many of you guys honestly, something happens to you and like for some reason you're like, you just react that way. You're just like, man, I really apologize. I didn't mean to react that way. That's not your true self. Your true self wouldn't have been reactive then. It's because you have an energy that was stuck way a long time ago. Who knows, maybe at 6 years old, your father was very angry with you. And you can actually even absorb the energy, which a lot of people, there's a word going around the internet called, empathic. A lot of people talk about, am I an empath? Am I an empath? I hate to break all the news for everyone, but everyone in some ways is an empath. Either you're very heavy or you're very low on it, but whatever it is, you are an empath because technically, whenever I work with any client, I see absorbed emotions all the time. Unfortunately, too, if you're an animal lover, got to be careful how you act in the home. That pet could get depressed. Why? It's absorbing the energies of the owner. I've seen it before. The parents start fighting. All of a sudden, I literally see depressed animals walking by or animals that get very angry very quickly, and they weren't like that before a year ago because they're absorbing from the owner. So also your babies as well. And so we're going to get started here. And today we're going to focus on love. But before I get into that and talking about a love, what they call a love body code session, we're going to talk about, Poppy and kind of let her introduce herself. I'm excited to her because I love working with people of high caliber that are already adding a lot of value. In fact, I met with one of her clients earlier today, and a lot of people have put down depression and anxiety majorly in a major way through her system and what she teaches. And so, so let's just introduce Poppy. Maybe you can just kind of share more information about you if this is the first time people are seeing you.
Yes. Hello. Well, I think you gave me a pretty good intro. I'm a psychologist, psychotherapist, and a coach, and I've worked in many, many different fields and disciplines globe-wide with different kinds of people. And I'm so appreciative of you saying that about people, is we come from love, essentially. We're educated out of a lot of the more natural, innate sort of ways of being because we're defending ourselves. So this is really how we've met. It's a long story really, but a friend and I got all excited about emotion code, and my friend went, I've done one better. I found a 15 minutes on the heart wall and Emmanuel's done it. She sent me his video and I was like, hello, can we be friends, please? I really like you. I think you're amazing. And we managed to make all of this great stuff happen. So I get to be what am I guess?
My best friend.
Painting, sorry?
My best friend.
Oh, bless your heart. We get to kind of share what we know with you and get the benefits of sort of, what's it called? I suppose, showcasing what can happen when we pay attention to repressed emotion or sacked emotion, or how we hide and control and manipulate ourselves. And here we are, two great minds working together going, there's so much greater for so many of us if we get out of our own way and use good people to help us.
Yeah, no, it's true. And just letting you know, see, I always thought that when it comes to energy healing modalities, I've been very skeptical just my whole life, just because the reality is people call it new age, which is not a really good definition of energy healing. Energy healing is actually ancient, and it's actually the ball is rolling back now to where we're going back to more pure ways of healing. So it's not like this is a new thing. Like I said, Asians, in general, Chinese medicine, they've been doing it for 2,000, who knows, plus years. It's just that we're finally waking up to being like, there must be a more pure, cleaner, natural way for us to let the body heal itself. That really your whole healing system is within you, and that you don't have to go outside. Now, obviously, I'm a practitioner. I do work with you, but it's kind of like I'm just waking you up to the idea that you can heal yourself. There are people that will read the emotion code book and they'll be like, I can work on myself. And then they're like, whoa, my shoulder pain went away and I wasn't present. And Dr. Brad wants everyone to know that you innately are a healer of yourself. But like I said, some people prefer to work with a practitioner just to kind of sit back, relax, and say, let a non-biased person work on me. And so plus people are very busy nowadays, and you're like, I don't have time to learn muscle testing. Why don't I just let someone else do it? And that's totally understandable. So let's jump into it. So today, we've if
Would
you
you
haven't
be
seen
able to give a quick synopsis on muscle testing just for anybody that hasn't seen any of these? Because what are we now? Is this the fourth in the series? Is this our...
Yeah, I think this is our fourth one, and if anything, it could be our third too. But we're just rocking and rolling. Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about muscle testing for those of you who are new out there. So real quick, Dr. Brad, he talks about like the way that he, in regards to his chiropractic, work, what he used to do actually, he used to do a lot of muscle testing to ask, body questions. And muscle testing has been around for dozens and dozens of years. It's not something Dr. Brad created, but he realized that the body can answer yes or no questions. In fact, my mother used to visit someone who was sort of a natural doctor, and she would ask the body, hey, how much do you need of this vitamin here? And then she would be pushing on my mother's hand and saying, is it more than one, more than two? And so when you have your arm out, and this is a typical arm muscle testing thing, you want to put your very little pressure. This is called like the wrist here is the speed bump. Dr. Brad calls it the speed bump. You don't want to be on that. One of the reasons why you don't want to be on this area here is because it kind of like contacts some nerves in the hand, and so your body sort of glitches and goes like, oh, is there something? Is my hand about to get hurt? So then it doesn't really work. So you want to move it like right above the this area here, like past the speed bump. And basically what I'm doing is, if I were to meet with you in person, I would say, my name. I would say, go ahead, Poppy. Say your name is Poppy. So she'd say, my name is Poppy, and I would say, could you please resist? So I want you to push up while you're doing that, right? And then what I would do is I would be pushing down very lightly, and it's not like a grabbing down. It's more of just I'm slowly adding pressure to it. And what we would notice is her arm would be strong, right? Now, if I said, go ahead and say, Poppy, say your name is Bob. And then it says, okay, Bob, my name is Bob. And then I would use the same amount of pressure and her arm would go down. And then usually her eyes would light up, be like, hey, why am I all weak all of a sudden? But that's because the body's saying, you're lying, your name is not Bob. So it says no. So we would mention her age. My age is blank. And then it would hold strong. And it says, my age is 15 years old. The body's like, no, sorry. So then you could say, now here's the great part is that there's key terms that Dr. Brad learned that the body recognizes. So for example, he says, do you have trapped emotions that we can release? And then she'll be like, why is my arm strong? That's weird. And then also like, do you have a heart wall? Which if you haven't looked at what a heart wall is, either watch the videos before, or you can actually just YouTube heart wall 15 minutes. If you just YouTube that, you'll see a video of me talking about it. And it is the greatest discovery in energy healing history. And if you really watch that video, you'll understand why. And but basically, I would say, do you have a heart wall? And probably like, yeah, I still have a heart wall. Technically, we've worked on our heart wall, what, once? Is it once or twice?
Twice.
Yeah, so twice. So, and she still has one, And so if I were to muscle test her right now and say, do you still have a heart wall? Her arm would still be like, I still have one. And so that's kind of how we do this. Now, what most people are asking is, how do I do it long distance? Now, Dr. Brad said it's basically you're connecting with someone. The best way he said is it's called via proxy, okay? It's like being at the in-between person. So how he worded it is almost like you're putting your needs to the side. And so instead of muscle test, if I were to use there's different types of muscle, like the ring test, there's the hand solo. Here's another one's like, this is a yes, this is a no, this is a yes, this is a no. And there's even a one where you use your fingers like you're spinning it. And if you guys want to try this one's actually a pretty easy one. So if you guys want to try this later on, like pretend like you're not putting too much pressure, it's not too light, it's just like right in between. And if you say your name, like say my name is Emmanuel, it should be pretty smooth. And if you say your name, it should be pretty smooth. Now, if you say another name, my name is Bob, and you try to do it, it has this sort of sticky effect to it. It's not very smooth. And it's very light though, but that actually is your body saying no. And you could do the same work that I'm doing right now, just using your finger. I've seen someone on stage at a conference say, is it column A, is it column B? And what I'm talking about column is that I'll show you this chart here that we use. But basically what I'll be doing, I'll be connecting with Poppy on an energetic level. So the answers that I get will actually be from her subconscious, not mine. And people have, if you've ever heard the term subconscious brain, that's the most powerful brain on the planet, because Poppy, since before she was even born, her subconscious was on. Like it's already on, and it's taking in everything like a 1080p camera. And it, like, even if the mom felt some emotions during the trimesters, it's recording it. It's going like, okay, mom is feeling anger. Ouch. Okay, so my heart hurts. Boom, anger wall right there. So it's recording everything, receiving information, and it's every tear you've dropped, every conversation where you felt sad, every corner you've turned, every building you've ever visited, all stored in the subconscious perfectly. That's why sometimes when you hear about people who have NDEs or near-death experience, they start flashing memories of things that they've, like when they were 6 years old, 9 years old. I mean, it's like they're flying through memories. That's their subconscious, like basically showing them, I've recorded all this, you see? And so no matter what faith you're in, no matter what you believe in, a lot of people start saying, I start noticing flashes of memories before my life. And my life flashes before me. Yeah, that's the subconscious being opening up. And so you're seeing everything. And so that's what we're going to tap into. Why? Because, myself and Poppy, we don't remember what we ate a week ago. Not the most accurate thing to kind of get answers from to see what's really holding her back. It's more proficient to work on the subconscious and ask questions there. So I can, for example, she can't remember something at 2 years old, but her subconscious remembers perfectly what happened at 2 years old.
And that's the same for all of us, right?
That's the same for all of us. All of us, yeah. All of us have access to that subconscious brain. It's a really great tool. And I kind of feel like, in some ways, the way that I want to say this, Dr. Brad had this, he got very inspired by this whole system. And let's just say, I don't want to like complicate things here, but let's just say that this system was built into us. And somehow Dr. Brad tapped into it. So that's why when I look at a body code chart, there's a very funny question that people ask all the time is like, but if Poppy has never seen this chart of 60 emotions, how can I muscle test her and her body is leading me there?
Hold it up again so we can see more. People, I'm sure, will be fascinated.
Yeah, and so, for example, there's the first one's like column row 1, and these are the emotions, like abandonment, betrayal, forlorn, loss, love unreceived, effort unreceived, heartache, insecurity, overjoy, vulnerability. Those are all column A, column B, and that's row 1. Now, those emotions are either lodged in the heart or the small intestines, if you guys can see that. And then there's a second row. There's a third row, there's a fourth row, all these different rows. There's 60 emotions in here, and they could be located in different areas. For example, another thing where the liver suffers a lot is depression, frustration, indecisiveness, panic, and taken for granted. You have a lot of those emotions all the time. Trust me, the liver and the gallbladder are not doing well, or what we would call in the body code is you have an imbalanced liver or gallbladder. So, for example, let's say Poppy dealt with a lot of depression in her in her life. It's just a lot of depression. Pretty sure it's affecting her liver or gallbladder. Dr. Brad can even get to the point where I can walk up to Poppy and just say liver, just the word liver next to her ear, and I would push down on her arm, and her arm would go weak. And she's like, "Why is my arm going weak?" It's because there's an imbalance in your liver. Like your liver is not healthy. There's something going on. But that's because there's probably a ton of trapped emotions that are affecting the liver area. You see, so basically that's how it all works. And so I would muscle test and say, is it column A? Is it column B? Is it an even number or is it an odd number? And so the body is basically going through this and trying to help me find the emotion. Now, once I find the emotion, let's say it's like column A, row 3. Do you see how there's crying, discouragement, rejection? So I would ask there. I'd be like, is it crying? Is it discouragement? Is it rejection? Oh, look, it's sorrow. And then what I would say, what age did you receive that from? And I would be like, is it older than 15 years old? And it said, no. Okay, is it younger than 15? And then I'm muscle testing it, just asking questions. And it would tell me the age that she had this emotion get stuck in her body. Is that pretty good? Is there any other questions, Poppy, about that? Or is that the...
Pretty good. And of course, we're working with a master here. So when you see him flipping around, that he's very quickly muscle testing. And, this is how we found water, through dowsing, right? The dowsing rods. So this is how we exist, this stuff. So it's not new age at all. Yeah,
exactly. And there's different ways too. Some people even use, I'm guessing, like is that what you're saying, like there's pendulum. So there's a lot of body code practitioners that use pendulum, and they have their yes answer, their no answer, and they can go through if you're someone who already does this type of work and you already use the pendulum, this would be very easy for you to go in there and be like, what trapped emotions are making me feel sad, or what trapped emotions are causing this lower back pain? And just go ahead and whatever is your yes, go there, whatever is your no, go there, and you can ask, is it column A, column B? and we can go there. So let's get started. So what we're going to focus on today is love. Okay, so I don't know if who here is interested in either finding love in 2018 or who's interested in improving your relationships with love. I mean, everyone, right? I mean, who isn't? And so I think you can use one finger if you want. So the reality is that first of all, I always say that I think people use the word love too easily. I think when people say, "Oh, I fell out of love," I'm like, you kind of fell out of like. I think, because love is a very, very strong word. I mean, unconditional. I mean, I think most of the stuff that we do are very unconditioned, And so, but besides that, that's just my philosophy, is just in general, your body has given a definition of what love is. For example, before this, I don't know how old you are, whoever I'm talking to, let's say you're like 45 years old, let's just say, you've coined love in many different situations. You've coined love with your parents. Oh, that's love. That's usually the first love, is kind of like what your parents are doing. The second love could have been like your teen love. Then it could have been the adult love. Then it could have been like what you read about love, or or what you saw a friend, what happened to a friend and their definition of love. There's so many different things happening, and where your body is being programmed. Like, I guess that's love. I guess that's love. I guess that's love. So then, by the time you get to a certain age, it's basically saying, that is not what your body, your subconscious is trying to keep you safe. Have you ever seen the movie Poppy, Inception before?
Inception,
yeah. No? It's a really good movie, and if you don't like the movie, at least it has a very handsome guy, Leonardo DiCaprio, as the main character, so at least it'll be eye candy for you. But anyway, so the point is that the movie is about just entering dreams, and what's really interesting is that there's a scene where people are entering the subconscious of one person. So let's say Leonardo DiCaprio, he brings a woman into his subconscious. So they're in there and they're walking around, and it's almost like in a dream state, and they're walking around France, and what he hired this woman to do is to start building in his subconscious. It's a pretty complicated plot, but what's really interesting is that these people are looking at these people are walking in the streets, and they're all looking at her really weird. And then she's like, why are all these people looking at me strange? It's because he's like, because they don't recognize you. You're foreign to me. It's like, and so because they didn't know each other too well, so the subconscious is going like, who is this person in here in this dream? And then the second thing is, then they started like hitting her, and they started like pushing on her. They're like, hey, can you tell your subconscious to calm down real quick? Like, and he says, I have no control over them because it's my subconscious. See, very powerful, deep stuff in that movie. And it's the same thing. It's like, even if in your mind you're looking for love, even if you read the 5 love languages, even if you read Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, which are, by the way, like, for example, Poppy is teaching you amazing, like philosophical tools, like many, many years of study, very, very powerful. If you can sandwich what Poppy provides and you use a practitioner and combine it together, because it's not all about your mental state, and it could help you out a ton. I mean, like 80%, 90% help out, but if there's like something missing, it probably is just an energetic imbalance. And if you kind of sandwich those together, then you're a very powerful force to deal with. And so it's like I said, it's the mental is very important. Like, for example, if there's a lot of self-development books and trade books, this doesn't negate to read self-development and improve your mind and become, to think like a wealthy person. It's very important to read what wealthy people think, not just energetically allow you to be wealthy. But there is, where everyone's stuck at is the energetic stuff. It's getting to that right frequency to match your goal. Same thing with love. Your body might say, no, I'm not open to love. I'm sorry. And so that's kind of what we're going to work on today. Poppy, I'm going to ask her subconscious if she's open to love. And her subconscious has her triggers or her things that are saying, nope, not open to love. Perhaps, maybe it's open. I don't know. But we'll find out. And then what we'll do is we're going to do.
Can I just intercept before we go there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to say that, and to weave in Karen's question here, which is, she's saying she gets recurring bronchitis. And the thing about you guys, when you're on live with us, is you've got 2 practitioners here who work with energy and with the body and with the psyche. So the first thing, I'm sure you probably would second it, is with bronchitis, that could be something that in an emotion code session you might pick up on. And for me as a psychologist, always when we look at the throat, there's so much unsaid. And so it becomes a sort of vulnerable area for us. This is what our ailments are about. We're both great fans. I'm sure I can speak for you here, but correct me if I'm wrong, that the body never lies.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the work that we're doing, is to lean on the body to integrate what the body's telling us with what the mind's telling us. Because I'm sure many, many people here, you'll tell yourself things sometimes. We do this with our ego, is this, they think this, they were doing that. And it's very elementary, the ego. And so that's often what conflict is about, physiologically or emotionally or anything else. So when you ask us questions, you're going to get, it from the psyche point of view. And that's why, I'm just here as a student as well as a teacher. So yeah, give him a message. What's your email again?
It's my email is codingalternative@gmail.com. So codingalternative@gmail.com. And you can find me on Facebook too, Coding Alternative, or Instagram. It's all Coding Alternative. So, but that's a very good point. And Dr. Brad said that like 80% of the body symptoms that we're dealing with, I just saw someone talk about my daughter has had hiccups for 6 months. So obviously it's a very serious issue here. I'm curious too, Cindy, how old is she? Is she under 18? Something that's very powerful with this proxy work is that I can actually work with the mother, and the mother, if this child's under 18, you have, kind of like legal protection of your child. The child number one, doesn't have to be there. And number two, the child doesn't have to give permission to be worked on. See, I always have to ask Poppy, can I work with you? You can't just illegally, I go up to someone and just be like, I'm going to just tap into their subconscious, It's funny, Dr. Brad's daughter was doing that. So technically you can, but Dr. Brad says do not do that, because it's kind of like it works against our agency that we've all been given. You wouldn't want some creep working on you down the street. All of a sudden, hey, I've been working on you for a week. You're like, whoa, who are you? Like, you wouldn't want that. But it's funny, like she would be muscle testing the waitress. And this was, she was like 12 or 13 like that. But she's like, that waitress, the waiter has parasites. I'm like, do we really want to eat this food? Like, and so, and then Dr. Brad was like, stop muscle testing people. Or he would be on the they'd be on the freeway and she'd be muscle testing. She's like, that guy right in that car actually has a lot of lower back pain from this grief that happened. So she, and Dr. Brad's like, stop tapping into people. She's like, we don't do that. You see, so you could technically do it, but we were admonished not to do that. So, but with your child, for example, if you want to email me, oh, she's 25. Okay. So Cindy, what you would do is you would send her a video on the emotion code. Okay. And I can work with her either in person, or if she's like, you can work with Emmanuel. If she sends me an email and says, I give you permission to work with Emmanuel, then I can work with you, the mother, and she'll get all the results wherever she's at, which again, it cancels out the idea that this is a placebic effect, because I'm not with her. She's not there, and her hiccups will stop. You see, so how would that work unless real energy was being released from her? So, and I will also work with animals too. So, animal, I don't speak dog the last time I checked. So, again, energetic things that are leaving the body. So let's work with, let's start doing this love session here. And basically, I'm just going to ask this very simple question, which is, do you feel safe? I'm going to say this. Do you feel safe?
So you guys can ask this question of yourself, right? Whenever he's asking me questions, you can go, this is curious. Am I open to? Am I safe? Use yourself.
In fact, I like the way you just said it, though. Am I open? I'll go with your words. Am I open? Am I open to a loving relationship? And all of us probably consciously said yes, we are, but subconsciously we'll find out what it is. Poppy, just give me your age again, real quick. Kind of like 30 something.
41.
Okay, see, I'm supposed to get some brownie points here from Poppy.
It doesn't matter if we're thinking of love relationships, like romantic, or if it's more love in relation. Does it matter which one we're going for?
No, it's actually love in general, just love in general. But I mean, I guess what you're saying, I could be wrong, but am I open to a loving relationship? I guess this is kind of like talking about a partner, like, am I open to a love, like acquiring a partner? But you'll see when we go in the past that it has nothing to do with a partner. Sometimes it's your mom and dad. Like, if there's no loving relationship with your father, trust me, we all know that our parents have caused us all some damage. Then then it'll go there, you know. And so I don't know what we'll find, which is the exciting part. And let's just jump into it. So what I'd like to do is let's just take 10 seconds. Do you have any questions before I go into it, Poppy? Is there anything you wanted me to? Anything else?
I guess I just feel for some reason moved to say this, which is for any of you that don't know us, you know, let's assume, because why not, that we're being kosher here, that I'm not here to humor us and waste our time and do a good, little act here. This is about us getting well and straight with the truth so we can all heal and have insights to be better and greater and healthier. So I would invite you to trust that what we're saying and doing is actually what it says on the tin, as it were. And then you can take what you want and leave what you don't, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. And here's something too that I'd like for you guys to do too is if you guys go, we've been very fortunate in our practice that we are actually officially the world's highest 5-star rated practice in regards to the emotion code, body code. And, a story tells us a lot. I think a lot of, we're telling a lot of facts here, facts. But, what about hearing someone's story, And so if you go on Coding Alternative on Facebook and you click on reviews, just go ahead and check in what people have been saying. Everyone's coming from a different walk of life. There's all these different types of stories. Some people suffering with heavy depression. And there's some people that are like, they're struggling with love, and just read some, and just kind of, and I always get emotional when I read them because it's like some people, they just wrote a cute little paragraph. Some people, I know a lady, I think her name is Heather. If you see Heather, she wrote like an essay, and she literally walked step by step by like sessions. This is how I changed. Sessions. This is how I changed. I mean, it's the most beautiful testimonial I've ever received in 2 years. She just gave it about 2 weeks ago, and her name is Heather. So look for Heather. I think Heather Allen. Look for her there. And one of the most powerful testimonies I've ever read. It just brought me to tears. But it just shows you, like, it took time for her to get the healing. But hey, I mean, less than 6 hours. That's to have like no depression. That's amazing. You see. So so let's do this. Can
I just? Sorry, I'm mindful of time here, but I think this is a great question from Pauline. She's just saying she's been watching us while we've been doing this. Can I, Poppy, quickly share how I've been feeling whilst the changes have been taking place?
Sure.
That seems like a cool idea. Poppy, can you quickly share how you're feeling and what changes you've noticed in your energy? So what I'll say is, since we've been doing this, primarily what I've noticed is what I shared a while ago, which is I feel clearer in my eyes, which is weird. I feel able to see better, which for me as a psychologist makes absolute sense, that when you start to clear the stacked emotion, there are reasons why we get sort of defensive or whatever. We can see people and situations and opportunities clearer because it's not loaded with our fear stories and our projection and stuff. Honest to God, that has been the most profoundly obvious thing that I've been aware of, is I actually feel my eyesight is better. And I've said this for many years, is I will not have this laser surgery thing because I have quite poor eyesight on occasion at night, for example. And I've always said, I'm not going to do that because I know it's psychology. And that for me would be 100% a testimonial that says, and why would I lie? It's just, I'm just not about that. That would be, for me, there's more clarity of how I see people and see things because I'm working at this, to clear the mess, basically.
Yeah, and something I want to add on there, thank you for sharing that. Something I want to add there too is that in regards to, it's interesting, everyone has bigger breakthroughs depending on which heart wall session you're at. For example, there's a lady who is very, she does like a bikini contest, where she looks all physically fit. It was interesting that it was her third heart wall session where she just said that she's been more vocal with her friends and her family, and she's able to express herself way clearer. Before, it was like she'd always retract and be like, should I say that? Should I not say it? Should I say it? And she said that the thing that's made her happiest is that she's able to just allow herself to be open and talk and share. The second thing that you might notice too, Poppy, that's coming in the future is that, Poppy's obviously on a mission. And the more that there's two things that I love about the emotion code. One is that you'll feel more flow in your mission, like more happiness, joy, and things as you're doing what you're called to do. And I really feel like everyone has a mission. And I can look anybody in the eye and tell you that you have some mission, you have a mission in life, and that when you align yourself with it, you will be happier, higher elation, more joy. And so the heart wall does that. But again, everyone receives it differently. I've heard even people that after they clear their heart wall, post 1 week, they start seeing some huge breakthroughs show up. So we haven't even seen the best of Poppy yet. It's coming. And we've only done 2 heart wall sessions. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to see. And I think if someone asked that question every single time post heart wall, I think we'd notice different things here and there. But yeah, let's get started here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on that question: am I open to a loving relationship? And then I'm gonna use the body code to see what I find here. So I like to take 10 seconds in our mind and ask for some help. So, in our mind, whether you believe in higher self or whatever God or however you believe in, but I just like to take 10 seconds to just ask for help, or you can meditate, and then we'll just jump right into it. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see here. Okay. So I'm just going to let's see, you guys can't see what I see. So I'm going to kind of go through this thing here. Okay, so it's like, wait, let me do this real quick. Let me do that. I don't know if that helps out. So this is, there's pathogens, misalignments, nutrition and lifestyle, toxins, circuits and systems, and energies. And that's kind of what I tap into. This is the most advanced healing system on the planet. Dr. Brad devised it. And what it is you can just, it's a hyperlink. So, you can just click on something and it goes to another, kind of
is that poisons?
Actually, yeah, pathogens is like, it could be like bacteria, like it's these different ones here, parasites, fungal, bacterial, viral, mold. You'll be very surprised. There's people that are looking around going, why do I have brain fog? Or, or why do I have...
Us ladies have that stuff from Candida. Oh, that's not just women, is it? Candida. No. That's going off in the States. People are talking about that in their gut.
Yeah, and it's surprising enough, actually, I think it's like 80 to 85% of Americans are dealing with parasites. Like, there's a lot of parasites going on. So, and then you would click on it. Let's say I were to click on parasites, it would tell you, okay, well, you probably get upset digestive system, muscle aches, fatigue, anxiety, and rashes, and then it would recommend to you, what supplements you should take, and you have to muscle test to see which supplements. So this could also work on a very physical level too. I work with people that have fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, Lyme disease, and I just keep removing imbalances, and their system keeps improving. And so it's pretty amazing. So we're gonna go through that system real quick, and I'm just gonna say, for example, are you open to a loving relationship? And see, your body says no. So I'm already connected to Poppy. See, so if I say my name's Emmanuel, body's like, no, you're not. So, okay, cool. So I'm connected with her. My name is Poppy. Yeah, strong. So I'm gonna say, what's the biggest energy or something that I can clear to help you to be more open to a loving relationship? So let's see what it says. And I'll just tell you guys what I find. So the first thing, it's an energy, okay? So it's something mental, okay? So let's see.
Call me intelligent, but we're going to find some resistance in this one, folks.
All right, so let's see. Broadcast, no. Is it a despair? No. Is it an image? No. There's something else here. It's a memory field, okay? So what is a memory field? How many of you guys have experienced that that thing where, it's very easy for you to recall some traumatic events? A lot of, obviously, PTSD clients have that they can just, something triggers them and then they recall something. But even if you don't have PTSD, it might not be too hard for you to recall the most recent divorce or something that happened when you were a child or whatever. And that's technically, in the body code world, that's called a memory field. And it's an actual energy that goes in front of your eyes, and it's kind of like you easily can recall things. Now, there's 3 types of them, really. And Dr. Brad he wants you to narrow it down because that's what it is. It's like, so I'm going to say, for example, is this all your memories in general? See, body's like, no. Is this about a specific event? Nope. Is this from similar events throughout your life? Yep. Body said, yeah. So so I'm going to make a note here, put similar events throughout life. Now, I'm going to go into the emotion code because you guys remember the emotion code chart. I'm going to ask real quick. I'm going to say, is there a emotion in the emotion code chart that describes the theme of your memory field? And your body said, yeah. So let me see. Is it column B, column B, column A? So it's column B.
Is this interesting to you guys? It must be. I find this fascinating. Look at what we can achieve if we look at this stuff.
Okay, so it's B3. So it's basically either confusion, defensiveness, grief, self-abuse, or stubbornness. Okay, so we don't know which one it is. And obviously Poppy's not stubborn, so it's probably absorbed emotion. I mean, let's just be real here. You know, so, but let's find out. Is it stubbornness? No, it's not. Is it self-abuse? No. Grief? Nope. Defensiveness? Sorry. Confusion? Yep, it's confusion. So your body is saying that there's many similar events of where you're kind of confused. And I mean, we can kind of narrow it down. What are we talking about here? We're talking about relationships. So maybe there's moments of confusion within a relationship, perhaps. But now let's get even more specific. Let's say, well, can your body give me an example of one of these moments? And your body's like, yeah, we can. Yeah, so I would say, for example, is it 41? No. 41, 40, 41, 40, 30, 20. Okay, 41, 40, 30. So something around 20, 21, 22, 23. It's around 24 is one example of a moment there. Now, I don't know what's going on. This could have been, Poppy, for you, like you were in between relationships, confused why you're not in one. It could be you're in a relationship and you're confused what's happening. I mean, what's going on at 24 in regards to maybe like a loving relationship? This could be family or this could be a partner. I have no idea. What's the first thing that pops up around 24? Confusion.
This is where the ego is fascinating because I would say, I've never been confused. I get it. So 24, about 22, I finished with a guy who was so abusive. My word, let's send him love and light. Mm-hmm. Bless him. So for about 2 years, I didn't see anybody. And then I started another relationship. So there was that 2-year gap in that process where I didn't feel confused. I felt like I knew it all, that I needed to take care of me to be healthier. Otherwise, I was just going to attract the same kind of person.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and like I said, who knows? Maybe around 24 was the attempt to go back into relationships again. And then obviously you have a new mindset, but you also have an old one too. You never know, but there's something around that. And I said, this is give or take a year. So this could have been 25 or 23, but there was some moment where you were just like, you labeled it, your body's like, okay, there's some confusion going on here. And so do we really need to know more about this? Body says no. Okay, so now I'm gonna ask this, is there an underlying cause that created this memory field? So why am I asking that question? Because you wanna always ask if there's another culprit below it. So this is, you have a memory field, but is there something that created this memory field? And sometimes there is. So I'm gonna ask, is there an underlying cause? And body's like, no, there's not. So it's just a memory field. And so I'm just saying, yeah, so let's release it. So I'm gonna ask your body, do you consider this a negative memory? And actually your body said yes. So instead of, if it said no, then what I would do is I would just move it behind you, you see? But your body actually says, no, I'd prefer if just really to have no contact with it at all. So then I'm gonna release it completely. So I'm gonna use my hand. I mean, typically I would use a magnet, which I don't have on me right now, but I could use a magnet if I wanted to, because there's a thing called a governing meridian, and it goes from your upper lip all the way to the back of your spine, okay? So there's this, like, it's from Chinese medicine, this thing called governing meridian, and it's kind of like the motherboard of the body, like, you know, just this little line here. And you can actually release things using this governing meridian, release energies from it. Now, obviously, Poppy's not with me, so if she was with me, I would have a magnet and I would use it on her spine because that's where her governing meridian is. Now, because I don't know how to rub my own spine with my hand, I would have to do it on myself. Now, I don't have to do it from the lip up. I can just do it from, let's say, like the ajna area, which is like the people call the third eye, and just move it all the way behind, just swiping it even a little bit. I mean, how many of you guys have used a magnet and like mess with somebody and put it on their credit card or their hotel card? What happened? What happens to that? If you have an ex, whatever, this is what you want to do. You want to just you basically are releasing the magnetic charge from that card, and the card doesn't work anymore. Also, if you did it on a computer, sometimes you can actually mess up your computer if you can move energy around. So what are we dealing with? We're dealing with real energies from the body. So we're using a magnet to release this. And by the way, your fingertips have some pretty heavy magnetic charge, as well. So I can use my fingertips as well, and it has the same effect. But what's really interesting is that this doesn't really work unless you have the intention to release the energy. So all the magnet really does is it magnifies intention. That's where it gets kind of cool. So it's kind of like I have the intention to release this energy from Poppy, plus using this on my governing meridian is what will release it from her, not from me. And so that's what I'm going to do. So, and Dr. Brad says the spirit that you want to have when you're doing this is to have love and gratitude. So love for Poppy and grateful that I have some way to impact her. So if you have that type of spirit, hey, you might be the next future emotion code, body code practitioner. So we're just going to release this memory field real quick. Okay, so did we release this one? And people are asking, why did I just do it 3 times? Because that's typically what it would take to release an energy. If there's something inherited, Dr. Brad's found that the number 10 is what you need to use. So you do it 10 times. For example, if you find an inherited emotion from your great-great-great-grandfather, you do it 10 times. And then you can ask, did we release it? And then the body says yes. So again, to release that one real quick, let's see. Are you now open to a loving relationship? Body's like, nah, let's try again. Nice try. So it's okay. Let's. I'm very patient. See, that's what the subconscious of Poppy doesn't know, is that I'm actually really darn patient. So so let's see here. So what else can we find? Is something on the right side, left side? If you have any questions, or Poppy, if you want to read anything while I look for this next one here, I can multitask here.
Well, and I was just thinking, I was saying this in the live that I did earlier. I have, like many of us, many stories, we rationalize in our heads, rational stories about why, of course, I'm open to loving relationship and so on. And I'm also thinking, part of me is going, well, why is it important anyway? I'm all about my business and I'm all about healing and so on. And many of us do this, is I can survive without a relationship and whatever. And of course we can. But what I'm thinking is, we're tribes people, we're social beings. And I was just thinking, if I got out of my own way for a minute, as a couple, when we find a healthy relationship and we lift each other for, the brilliance of being together as a twosome or 3, or, whoever, people do relationships their way. For me, it's 2. We're more powerful when we have someone. It's like Napoleon Hill comes to mind, he was very sort of socially awkward and so on, and he chose in his wife a mastermind alliance who was like, suddenly we wouldn't have him if it wasn't for his wife. So I was just thinking, get out of your own way, Poppy. Can you imagine if I had a powerhouse chap next to me? Oh my word, watch out.
It's so amazing you mentioned Napoleon Hill, because it reminded me of the chapter on sex transmutation, and it talks about how the man or the female, for whatever reason, when they were more mature and with their relationship, that most of their success, it's almost like it was like their counterpart influenced, the fact that they're in their mind. I guess I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like if you were to, men would do crazy things in regards to sexual energy, and that's what I think what sexual transmutation is all about. Is kind of like this not consequential way of saying, if I don't do this, then I won't receive love from my other partner, but things like that. But it has something to do with the sexual energy between 2 people and the maturity of a relationship. It was saying in Napoleon Hill that some of the best work you'll do will be when you're older and your relationships, are maturing, or you have some love partner. And so it's a very, very good point. The fact that you should mention Napoleon Hill, that's really interesting. And so, there is a better version of us that lies within someone who could partner up with you, And so anyway, that's what I'm working on right now. Okay, so you guys just got to be patient a little bit. So saboteur energy. Let's. I found. Oh, by the way, while you were talking, I did find another energy. I found saboteur energy. So a saboteur energy, if you guys want to see this beautiful photo of someone being stabbed in the back, it's not too delightful there, but basically it's interesting. Saboteur energy actually, it's a real energy, and I was like, is this really real? No, it's real. People will have pain in their wrists, and there's a rope tied around them, and their partner gave them that rope. They had really bad intentions, and this rope showed up. Now he didn't say, I hope your hands get tied. But he might be like, it's like, I don't want you leaving the house anymore. How about I go work and you stay at home with the kids, blah, blah. then a rope will show up. There's like some symbol behind that, and the woman will start having wrist pain. As soon as I find it, I release it, the pain goes away, you know? And so it's, but there's a saboteur energy. I wonder if this had to do with a relationship or something, but so saboteur energy, what weapon is this? Is this a chain? No. Is this a rope? No. Is this a bullet? No. Is it a knife? Yeah, so it's a knife. When did you get this knife? Let's see, is this 41? No. 41, 40, 41, 40, 30, 30, 31. So it's around 32. It could be 33, it could be 31, around there. Now watch this. Is this someone that was given to you by a female? You just never know, right here. So female, no. Is this a male? It's not. See, it wasn't a male. So watch this. Is it yourself? Yep. Body said yeah. So why would you give it to yourself? Well, here it says here that
anybody identifying, could you put some 4s in the box? Just send me some love. If you're identifying with this and you sabotage your beautiful heart, like me, join the group.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, go ahead and put a 4 down there. And watch this. This is what it says right here. It says it can be self-inflicted in cases of what? Extreme self-abuse. So this one technically was yourself, just being very hard on yourself for some reason. But it was around 32. So 31, 33, 32. Anything ring a bell with that? And was there any relationship going on around there or lack thereof? You know, it could be lack thereof too. So
I know exactly what this is. And I've had this vision ever since it was a man that I knew, like many of them. A lovely, lovely, amazing guy. Very pleased I met him. But I knew when I saw him, I thought, oh God, no. In fact, I even said to him, don't ring me, mate, kind of thing. And of course he did. But ever since that relationship, I've had a vision of, you know, Carmen, the opera. Carmen the opera, she's a gypsy lady.
Oh, okay.
She's free-spirited and kills her, basically. Ever since I met him, in fact, when I saw him, I saw this thing. And it's me doing it and going, oh, bless him, he's an interesting man. And I went cognitive, which was what many of us do. I thought, cognitively, it's going to be interesting to know this person. My heart's going, run, like sprint, go, go, go. And I stayed, obviously.
Okay. So yeah. So let me ask. Give me that. What was the first name?
Sorry.
What was the first name? Of that person?
What was the first name of that person?
Yeah.
He's very well known, so I don't know.
Is it?
I could give you the initial.
No, don't give me the initial. Watch this. Beautiful. Is I can just ask. Is the so think of the person in your mind. That works just fine. And so let me see. Is it that person that she's thinking about? Yeah. So you can do that too. Anybody who's working with me, you can stay perfectly private and not mention one word. I can say, go ahead and think of two things. Let me see. Think the first one. The other one. I mean, it's amazing how muscle testing works. Technically, I'm connecting with you, so I can tap into your subconscious. And the subconscious, like I'm viewing it right now. That's what it is. So. Is there an underlying cause that created saboteur energy? And your body said yes. So there is some layer below this. And we're about to find out what it is. By the way, do you hear an echo?
I hear the voices going in and out just slightly.
Okay. Because for some reason I'm hearing an echo. Okay, so let's see.
It might be that you're the phone device, or you could come down like on your volume 2 notches. It might stop.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So I can barely hear you, but I'll lift it up when I need to. So anyway, so I'm gonna ask there's something below this that's happening. So I'm gonna find out what it is. Left side. Yeah, everyone has an echo. Oh no, there's an echo. It's not good. How would I maybe turn my broadcast off? I'm scared to lose everybody. Lots of echo. Okay, this is not good. We're having a lot of echo here.
You might be able to come out of the chat room and come back in again. Is there a little kind of cog, a wheel cog? You might be able to come out.
Is that better?
This is cool. Why not?
Is it better? Oh, there's still an echo.
Is there? Oh, interesting.
Well, let me do this.
Let me do this. Let's try this.
Just check that no other pages are open.
Oh, there's an echo now.
There's an echo now.
Dang, okay. So, here, Poppy, what do you think? Should we just stop the broadcast? It's a really bad echo.
I think probably we would need to start it again.
Okay. Let's do that. So we're gonna start over. Love you guys. And then we'll jump right back in.
Okay, so send me a link and I'll come back on, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, bye.